All right, let's get straight to it. 2015 Toyota Corolla. Today we are changing the outer tie rod. You're going to need a 19 millimeter for the castle nut. You're going to need a 21 millimeter to hold and twist the outer tie rod off. You're going to need a 24 or 22 millimeter to break the jam nut loose from the inner tie rod. Depending on the type you have, I've seen where it can either be 24 or 22. And you're going to need the 17 millimeter possibly to get the old castle nut off of the old one, because the one that I have to get off is a 17 millimeter, even though the new one is a 19. So I went ahead and installed my grease fitting now, since it won't make a difference for us to put it in. So just go ahead and put it in now. You can see somebody was messing with this before. It's all galled up. But all right, so before we get any of this off, we want to break this nut loose while everything is still sturdy. So this is going to be a 22 millimeter. It might be a 24 on yours. That's why I had that extra 22 prepared. So I'm going to go ahead and get the 22 millimeter on there. So you want your setup to look just like this. So, and if that's not enough leverage for you to turn that, then you can always use a hammer and knock the end right there, and that should break that loose. And once it's loose like that, now we can focus on removing the tie rod. So you can see there's a cotter pin in here that we need to remove. So you can bend that back and then use some pliers and pull that cotter pin out. All right, so now that the cotter pin is removed, I was able to get my 17 millimeter up here. So the new part, the castle nut, is a 19 millimeter. So like I said, this is why I needed a 17 millimeter for this. So I'm gonna just go ahead and turn this counterclockwise, and so it's broken there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and finish getting that off. Once the castle nut is removed, there's a couple of techniques you can use to remove this ball joint. Since we're not reusing this outer tie rod, the easiest thing to do would be to hit it on top, but I always like to hit it on the side, at least to begin with, just so it can loosen it up and make it easier to hit it out from the top. So I'm going to take my hammer and I'm going to hit it on the side at least about a good 4 or 5 times, just to shake everything up. And if that doesn't pop it out, then I'll go ahead and tap it from the top, just like that. So mine fell out pretty easily after just hitting the side about 2 times. It pretty much just fell out, so I didn't have to hit it on top at all. You can see there's almost no damage on top, even though we're not, reusing it. But that's just good practice for when you're just removing these tie rods to change something else, so you can get practice of not damaging these things. Now we can just simply turn this off. You may notice as I'm screwing this on that the inner tie rod is new, but don't worry about that. Just pretend that this is your old inner tie rod. And I'm just going to go ahead until I meet the nut, but I also want to make sure that my tie rod is facing straight up when I come to a stop. So let's see, I think I can probably get one more spin in there. And like that. So now let's see, that is like a quarter turn, so that's almost perfect, because I took about a quarter turn when I broke the original nut loose. So that's a good starting point for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not even gonna lock that in yet. I'm just gonna see if this goes in here nicely. I have to bend this a little bit. You gotta bend these things so they can actually go in. And you see how that lined up almost perfect. I didn't have to move this, because I tried not to move this at all the whole time I'm doing this job, and it fits right up in there. So I feel pretty confident about this. The counting method that I use, I don't really have any issues once I'm able to drive it at least to the shop to get the alignment done without any major issues. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this castle nut all the way up. So I have it tight now, but I also replaced my regular cotter pin with a cotter clip. For some reason, the one that came with it was a little bit too big. I could fold the cotter pin, or and just use half of it, but I'd rather just go with the cotter clip. So we're done with the outer end of the tie rod. So all we have to do now is lock this piece all the way in. It moved back a little bit while we were doing things. So this is a 24 millimeter, and this is a 19 millimeter to hold the outer tie rod, while you use a 24 millimeter and lock this nut on. And if you have to make any adjustments, then what you would do is you would undo this nut here, and you would take your 15 millimeter and you would turn this, and this is how you would make your adjustments. If you turn this counterclockwise, then it would basically put more of the thread into the outer tie rod and pulling the back of the wheel more to the inside. And if you turn it counterclockwise, of course, it's going to do the exact opposite. It's going to push the front of the wheel more to the inside. So this is how you make your adjustments before you get it ready to get in alignment. All right, so that's locked down now. Everything is good. We have the outer of it, everything locked up. We have the cast nut on and the cotter pin in. So everything is safe and secure. We can go ahead and get our tire back on. Well, that's it, guys. That's how you change your outer tie rod on a 2015 Toyota Corolla.